Myself, Nazira Sultana, e-content developer, LMS team, heartily welcome all students and viewers. Today's session is for the course Switchgear and Protection of 5th semester Electrical and Electronics Diploma Engineering. Today's topic is from Unit 3 Protective Relays. Today's topic is Session 30 Definite Distance Type Impedance Relay. Before moving ahead towards today's topic, let us try to understand what you have studied in the previous topics. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ರಿಲೇ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ನಂತರ ಅದರ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲೇ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲೇಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಓವರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ರಿಲೇ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ರಿಲೇ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ರಿಲೇ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ರಿಲೇಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಒಂದೊಂದಾಗಿ ಈ ರಿಲೇಗಳು ಏನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. Before moving ahead, we will try to have a quick and short recap about the types of relays what you have studied in the previous sessions. The first type of relay what you would have studied in the previous sessions was induction type non-directional overcurrent relay. So this induction type non-directional overcurrent relay is nothing but a relay which recognizes overcurrent in a circuit and initiates corrective measures. And this overcurrent relay which works on induction principle are called as induction type non-directional overcurrent relays. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಓವರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ರಿಲೇ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ರಿಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ರಿಲೇ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆದಾಗ ಇಂತಹ ರಿಲೇಗಳು ಆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂತಹ ರಿಲೇಗಳನ್ನ ಓವರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ರಿಲೇಗಳಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂತಹ ರಿಲೇ ಆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಆ ರಿಲೇಗಳನ್ನ ಇಂಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ನಾನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ರಿಲೇ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ರಿಲೇ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ರಿಲೇ ವಿತ್ electromagnetic relay, the basic difference is that the static relays doesn't have any moving parts. So these type of relays, they don't contain any moving part and they perform the function of comparison and measurement of the quantities. And the output which is obtained by the static relays will be through your static components like your electronic circuits as well as your magnetic circuits. This is the idea behind your static relays. Next, further you would have studied about microprocessor relays. So in microprocessor relays, the microprocessor accepts signals in digital form. But we know that the quantities, both voltage and current, are analog quantities. The analog quantities cannot be fed directly to the microprocessor relay because the microprocessor relay understands only the digital form of signals. The first thing what we have to do is, before feeding these quantities into the microprocessor, they have to be converted into the required form. To do this conversion, we have your A to D converters. So these A to D converters convert the analog signal into digital form. Then the microprocessor relay will accept those digital signals and it will process and it will act. So ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ರಿಲೇಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ನ ಆಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಎರಡು ಅನಲಾಗ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್. ಈಗ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಅನಲಾಗ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ನ ನಾವು ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಈ ಅನಲಾಗ್ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅನಲಾಗ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಒಂದು ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ರಿಲೇಲಿ A to D ಕನ್ವರ್ಟರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ A to D ಕನ್ವರ್ಟರ್ ಈ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅನಲಾಗ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅದು ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ರೂಪ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದರ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ರಿಲೇಸ್. The next type of relay what you have studied was differential relays. So these differential relays operate when the phasor difference of two or more similar electrical quantities exceed a predetermined value. So we would have set a predetermined value. If the phasor difference of those two electrical quantities becomes more, then then the predetermined value, then the relay will operate. So usually how it does is it compares the current entering a section of the system with the current leaving the section. So this is the parameter on which the differential relays work. Under normal condition, the two currents are equal. That means the current which is entering the section as well as the current which is leaving the section will be equal. Hence, the relay will not operate because there is no difference. When the currents are equal, the difference is zero, right? So hence the differential relay will not operate. But when the fault occurs, what will happen? You know that as soon as the fault occurs, what will happen? The current in the system will be higher. So now there exists a differential current. So the current which is entering the system and which is leaving the system, there will be surely a difference. So because of this difference, what will happen? Difference in currents, the relay will operate. This is the idea behind your differential relays. Further, moving to today's session, let us try to see the contents of today's session. The contents of today's session are, we will have an introduction to distance relays, or one more name is called as impedance relays. Then we are going to see the types of distance relays. Later, we are going to understand about definite distance type impedance relay. So let us first try to understand what is a distance relay. Or so a distance relay is nothing but a relay in which the operation is governed by the ratio of applied voltage to current in the protected circuit. So that type of relays are called as your distance relays or impedance relay. We'll try to understand this. So in distance relays, we are going to take into consideration both voltage and current of the protected circuit, and based on their ratio, these relays operate. Further looking, in an impedance relay, the torque produced by the current element is opposed by the torque produced by the voltage element. The relay will operate when the ratio V by I is less than the predetermined value. So in the definition we told, basically these relays work with the ratio of voltage and current. So now on what quantities of your voltage and current basically it works means, it is going to take into consideration the torque produced by the current element as well as the torque produced by the voltage element. So in an impedance relay, the torque produced by current element is opposed by the torque produced by the voltage element. Now the relay will operate when the ratio of this V by I is less than the predetermined value. So we would have set the predetermined value. We would be having a set value. If the present value, that is during the fault occurs, the value what it comes in, the value when it V by I value, if it is less than the predetermined value, that time your distance relays will operate or your impedance relay will operate. Now we'll try to understand how does these impedance relays basic operation is. So when this is a basically a impedance relay, right? This is an impedance relay. I told you we are going to take both voltage and current into consideration. So hence your voltage will be through your PT and your current will be through your CT. We'll look further. So the voltage element of the relay is excited through a potential transformer from the line to be protected. Just now I told you we are going to take into consideration both voltage and current. So the voltage element, I told you in the relay we are going to will be having a voltage element as well as a current element. The voltage element will be excited through a potential transformer. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವೋ ಆ ಲೈನಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಪಿಟಿಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಟಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಲೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಕೆಚ್, ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಝೋನ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಝೋನ್ ದ ಟಿ ಆರ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ in series with the protected zone. So the current element of the relay will be connected to the CT and the voltage element will be connected to the PT. The portion A to B is the protected zone, just now what I told you. When you look at here, we have marked false F1, we have marked false F2. We will see further when we are understanding its working, how it works. Now you can see ZL. What is this ZL? ZL is nothing but the impedance of the relay under normal condition. The impedance of the protected zone is ZL. So A to B is my protected zone. The impedance is ZL. The relay is so designed. So how it is designed? It is so designed that the contacts will close, and we know relay contacts, when the fault occurs, relay contacts will close. They will generate a trip signal. Because of this trip signal, the circuit breaker will open its contact. Now for your relay contacts to close in this type of relay, what has to happen? The impedance value of the protected section, if it falls below the predetermined value. Now the predetermined value is what? That is ZL. ZL is my value of impedance from A to B. If a fault occurs and if the value of the impedance becomes less than ZL, then only these type of relays will operate. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಲಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ನಾವು ZL ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಝೋನ್ ಎ ಇಂದ ಬಿ ವರೆಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ZL ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ರಿಲೇ ತನ್ನ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ZL ಗಿಂತ ಅದರ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಾಗ ಆ ರಿಲೇ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಸಿ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಒನ್ is suppose a fault occurs at F1 and a fault occurs at F2. That is, F1 is a fault in the protected zone. I told you A to B is a protected zone, right? So if the fault occurs in the protected zone, what will happen? Next we will try to see if the fault occurs outside the protected zone, what will happen. Now let us try to understand the first case. That is, now suppose the fault occurs at point F1. Now I told you A to B is my protected zone. The impedance of A to B is ZL. Now if the fault occurs at this place, right, it is before your point B. So the impedance from A to this point will be naturally less than ZL, right? So now what will happen? Because the impedance is less than your ZL value, so that impedance we are going to take it as Z. So Z is the impedance between the point of the relay and the fault point. From the relay to the fault point, the impedance is Z. Now how can we calculate it? We can calculate by knowing the voltage and current. V by I, when we do, we get the Z value, that is impedance of the system. So now the Z value, when you compare with ZL, naturally it will be less. Because it is less, the relay will operate. I told you the impedance relay will operate when the value of the impedance is less than the predetermined value. Our predetermined value is what? ZL. Now the value what we are getting Z will be naturally less because the fault has occurred at this place. So the relay will operate. So if the fault occurs at F1, the relay will operate. Now suppose fault occurs at F2 instead of F1. What will happen? We'll see. Now if the fault occurs at F2, now your impedance you have to take from point A up to this point. So that value is again we are going to take it the same notation Z. So now Z what will be? It will be more than ZL, right? Because your Z is more than ZL, now relay will not operate. The meaning is that we have designed a protective scheme from A to B only. So the relay will operate if your impedance value falls below this ZL. When it is here, it is more than ZL, so relay will not operate. This is the basic idea how your impedance relays work, on what principle do they work, right? Further moving, we will try to see the different types of distance relays. We have got basically two classification of distance relays. First one is definite distance relay and second one is your time distance relay. Further moving, the definite distance relay, which operates instantaneously for faults up to a predetermined distance from the relay. Whereas your time distance relays, in which the time of operation is proportional to the distance of fault from the relay point. This is how your classification of distance relays is being made. Now we'll try to understand today's topic, that is definite distance type of impedance relay. This is how a definite distance type of impedance relay looks like. Alright, coming to the construction, the important parts we'll try to see. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಯಾವುವು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. The definite distance type of impedance relay consists of a beam called as F. What you can see in the sketch here, this beam is called as F. Generally we call it as fulcrum. F stands for fulcrum. So on both the sides of the fulcrum you have got certain things. We'll see what are they further. So now this fulcrum, along with this fulcrum, below you can see two electromagnets. This is one electromagnet, this is one electromagnet. So you're having two electromagnets which are energized. See, these electromagnet and these electromagnets are energized by, one electromagnet is energized by your voltage transformer, that is PT. Other electromagnet is energized by your current transformer, that is CT. So ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಬೀಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಫಲಕ್ರಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಲಕ್ರಮ್ನ ಎರಡೂ ಕಡೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ನ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅವು ಯಾವುವು ಅಂತ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ಸ್ ಈ ಫಲ್ಕ್ರಮಿನ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಬೀಮು ಮೊದಲನೇ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬೀಮ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು PT ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಎರಡನೇ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು CT ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜೈಸ್ ಆಗೋದು PT ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಎರಡನೇ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜೈಸ್ ಆಗುವುದು CT ಮುಖಾಂತರ. ಫರ್ದರ್ the armatures, now you can see armatures. I told you on this fulcrum, one side you are having armature, other side you are having the trip circuit, right? So these armatures are mechanically coupled to the beam on the opposite side of the fulcrum. So ಈ ಆರ್ಮೇಚರ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಈ ಫಲ್ಕ್ರಮಿನ ಒಂದು ಭಾಗ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ the beam is provided with the bridging piece for trip circuit. The other end of the beam is connected to the bridging piece. You can see this blue color, this is a bridging piece. So this will bridge the trip circuit contacts. These two are called as trip circuit contacts. The relay is so designed that the torques produced by two electromagnets are in opposite direction. We know that once this electromagnet gets energized, there will be a torque. So there will be a torque from the voltage element, there will be a torque from the current element. So these two torques will be in opposite direction. ನಮ್ಮ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟ್ ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ PT ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಎರಡನೇದನ್ನ CT ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಈ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ PT ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಎನರ್ಜೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಈ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ CT ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಎನರ್ಜೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ಟಾರ್ಕ್ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇವೆರಡು ಟಾರ್ಕ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಅಪೋಸಿಂಗ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Further, coming to the working. So regarding the working under normal condition, what will be the condition of the relay? We'll try to understand. So when the system is healthy, when there is no fault in the circuit, we know that normal current flows in the system. So naturally, the pull due to this voltage element will be greater than that in the current element. So therefore, the relay contacts are kept open. ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಿತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಅಂತಹ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಪುಲ್ಲು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜಿಂಗ್ ಪೀಸು ಈ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಓಪನ್, ರಿಲೇ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಓಪನ್. Now we'll try to see what will happen when the fault occurs in the protected zone. So I told you, as soon as the fault occurs, the current will shoot up to a very high value. So because this happens, now what will happen? The applied voltage per relay decreases whereas the current increases. So when this happens, what will happen to the ratio? The ratio of voltage and current, now what will happen? It will fall below the predetermined value. So the ratio of the voltage and current will fall below the predetermined value. Because of this, what will happen? The pull in the current element will exceed than the voltage element, and hence the beam tilts in the direction to close the trip circuit. So as soon as the pull here increases, this beam will try to move down like this. So when it is doing so, these bridging piece will come in contact with the strip circuit, and they make a closed contact, and the trip circuit energizes. So this is how your relay works, like how it makes the contact here. ಸಿಸ್ಟಮು ಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟಿನ ಪುಲ್ಲು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಬೀಮು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಇದು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೀಗ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಬೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಡೌನ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಇದ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಆವಾಗ ಈ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಟ್ರಿಪ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ನ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Further, now I told you there is a pull in the voltage element, there is a pull in the current element, right? So the pull of the current element, it is proportional to the current square, and the pull in the voltage element is proportional to its voltage square. So consequently, I told you the relay will operate when the current becomes large, like when the fault occurs, the current will become. So hence we say the relay will operate when K1 V2 is less than K2 I2. So where your K1 and K2 are your constants, they depend upon the ampere turns of the two electromagnets. Now we can change the setting value also by providing tappings on the coil. That option is also available. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಲಿ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಟ್ಯಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ಸನ್ನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So with this completes the explanation of definite distance type of impedance relay. I hope you have understood the topic clearly. Before moving ahead, we'll try to summarize what we have learned. To start with the session, we took up the recap of the previous session, in which we understood the different types of relays which we have already studied. Then we understood about your impedance relays, then about your different types of distance relays. Then we had a in detail understanding of definite distance type of impedance relay regarding its construction and regarding its working. So with this, we'll try to analyze and assess ourselves whether we have understood the topic completely. Let us try to see the MCQs. The first MCQ is the relay in which the operation is governed by the ratio of applied voltage to current in the protected circuit are called dash. So the options are induction type overcurrent relay, distance or impedance relays, time distance relay, none. So when I was explaining about the impedance relays, I told you the relay will operate, or its operation is governed by the ratio of voltage to current. So the answer should be option B, distance or impedance relays. Now moving to second MCQ, we'll try to see the definite distance type impedance relay will operate when the ratio dash is less than a predetermined value. Right? The options are V by I, Z by I, R by I, and ZR. So answer is voltage and current. So there is a ratio of voltage and current. So our answer should be V by I, option A. Coming to third MCQ, in a definite distance type impedance relay, the torque produced by a current element is opposed by the torque produced by a dash element. Your options are voltage, resistance, magnetic, none. So the answer is option A, voltage. I told you, you will be having a current element, you will be having a voltage element. Current element is energized by your CT, whereas your voltage element is energized by your PT. So and both are in produces a torque which are opposing nature. So the other element is your voltage element. So hence the answer should be option A, voltage. The next MCQ, the armatures of two electromagnets of definite distance type impedance relays are mechanically coupled to the beam on the opposite side of dash. So I told you there are two electromagnets and they are connected to what? Your option C, fulcrum, or F, what we showed in the sketch. Coming to your next MCQ, the two electromagnets of definite distance type impedance relay are energized respectively by a current and a dash transformer in the protected circuit. The options are power, voltage, distribution, none. So the answer should be option B, voltage, because your current element is energized from your CT, that is current transformer, and your voltage element is energized by your PT, that is your potential transformer, or one more name is called as voltage transformer. The options given here has voltage. So our answer should be option B, voltage. The sixth MCQ, the torque produced by the two electromagnets of definite distance type impedance relays are in the dash direction. Same, opposite, alternate, none. So I told you they are opposing in nature. So your answer should be option B, opposite. Coming to seventh MCQ, under normal operating conditions of a definite distance type impedance relay, the pull due to the voltage element is dash than the pull of the current element. Is it less, greater, either A or B? None of this. So the answer is option B, greater. So when the system is healthy, the normal current flows. Hence the pull by the voltage element will be greater than the pull of the current element. So the answer should be option B. Coming to 8 MCQ, the beam of a definite distance type impedance relay is provided with a bridging piece for the option A, fulcrum, B, trip circuit, C, pivot, and D, none. So the answer is option B. That is trip circuit. Ninth MCQ is, when a fault occurs in the protected zone of a definite distance type impedance relay, the ratio of the voltage to current fall below the dash value. Option A, set. Option B, predetermined. Option C, true. Option D, none of the above. So the answer is option B, predetermined value. You would have set a predetermined value. If the value falls below that predetermined value, then your definite distance type of impedance relay will occur. That is, when the fault occurs, it will operate. The 10th MCQ is, the pull of the current element of a definite distance type impedance relay is proportional to option A, I square, option B, V square, option C, Z square, none. So I told you the pull of the current element in a definite distance impedance relay is always proportional to your current square, that is I square. So the answer should be option A. So these are the 10 MCQs which are designed in today's topic. Now we'll try to move ahead to the descriptive questions. So the usually asked question in the examination from this topic is, explain with a neat sketch construction and working of definite distance type impedance relay. So this question will be asked for 10 marks. You are supposed to draw the sketch where you have to label all the important parts of the relay and you have to mark the fault. Both, that is, I have marked, as I showed you, F1 and F2, the fault in the inside the protected zone and outside the protected zone, that should be marked. Then you have to write the construction and you have to write the working. In the working, you have to explain both the case. What happens when the fault occurs inside the protected zone and what happens when the fault occurs outside the protected zone, right? So these are the references which were used for today's session. I hope I have successfully explained today's topics, what we have done, and I thank each and everyone who has given me this opportunity to convey this session in a more successful and fruitful way, and by successfully explaining you the MCQs and your descriptive questions, I think these will help you out in your examination, and with these ideas and with the way of writing, it will help you out in the examination. I thank each and everyone who has given me this opportunity to conduct today's session. I end this session. I once again thank each and everyone. Thank you.